Haley and Gary Ralph learned that their unborn child had a 9-centimeter tumor when Haley was only 32 weeks pregnant. The couple's world came crashing down at the news, worried to lose their child even before they could hold him in their arms. In April, the 29-year-old mother was scheduled for a cesarean section at Newcastle's Royal Victoria Infirmary. Following several weeks of monitoring, the couple's bundle of joy decided to make an unexpected entrance on their doorstep. The baby fighter, Cameron, was born on April 28 by emergency C-section at the James Cook University Hospital in Brisbane, Australia. The small little baby weighed only 6 pounds and 9.5 ounces. The doctors suspected the majority of its weight to be the tumor's weight. The 3-week-old infant is currently receiving treatment at Newcastle Hospital, where he is anticipated to remain for between 6 and 12 months. Fortunately, specialists have determined that the tumor is not malignant. Haley explained during a phone interview, "I went in for a regular growth scan and they discovered something was wrong with the scan. In a couple of days, I returned to the hospital. A second scan revealed that our baby had a 9-centimeter tumor, which my boyfriend and I were shocked to learn. After being transported to the RVI, we visited the phenomenal medicine unit. We had doctor's appointments once a week. The couple only knew that their unborn son had a rare tumor on his left arm, a very rare tumor with rare chances of survival. We were completely numb," Haley recalled. "All of a sudden, our world came crashing down. Being told that your newborn child may have cancer is a completely different ballgame." Haley was scheduled for a cesarean section on April 30 at the Newcastle Hospital because of the tumor her baby had. In one of her interviews, the young mom explained that she was unable to give birth to her son naturally as the tumor he had was larger than his skull. Cameron was delivered by emergency C-section at the James Cook University Hospital as his family didn't have enough time to get to Newcastle. According to Cameron's mother, Haley, when the tiny bundle of joy arrived at the hospital just before 3:25 p.m., it was immediately moved to the Royal Victoria Infirmary. Haley and Gary, both 38 at the time, were able to enjoy the first moments of parenthood with their baby. They made sure to have the most of the few moments they had with their newborn. This included skin-to-skin contact, one they wouldn't have for a while, as the baby had to be placed in an incubator due to his tumor. After seeing her newborn baby only twice, Haley was unable to hold him, and he was transferred to his father next. Now mother of 2, Haley described how her firstborn son, Fraser, who was 4 years old at the time Cameron was born, experienced something entirely different. As of today, Cameron is still in the hospital in the intensive care unit. The baby has undergone 4 blood transfusions, chemotherapy, and is currently on continuous antibiotics to fight off infections. A biopsy of the tumor was performed and the results revealed that it was, thankfully, not malignant in nature. Cameron has since been diagnosed with infantile myofibroma, which is a type of muscle cancer. The infant is currently getting chemotherapy with the hope of decreasing the cancerous growth. Cameron may even need to have the tumor surgically removed at some point if the tumor doesn't retract in size. Otherwise, his arm may need to be amputated after completing the treatment. At the moment, because it's so large, the doctors don't want to take the chance of operating because Cameron is still so small in size, almost the same size as his head. Cameron was born only weighing PS 6 and 9.5 ounces, most of which was due to the tumor. The mother recalled that her son was born at 36 weeks and 2 days. At his birth, Cameron was just a tiny little dot. Despite the presence of the tumor on the top of his arm, he still has a complete use of it. The young parents are able to stay with their newborn son at the hospital while he goes through treatment. However, since they already have another son at home who needs their care as well, they need to rotate to make sure one of them is taking care of him. Fraser, their oldest son, didn't have the opportunity to meet his younger brother, not just yet. Cameron's family has expressed their gratitude on numerous occasions to the outstanding healthcare staff at the Royal Victoria Infirmary. Even though it had nothing to do with Cameron's tumor, Haley said that it was annoying to see pregnant women smoking and drinking when it has the potential to harm their unborn children. Even though she'd done everything right, her child was still born with a big tumor. After following every required procedure, Haley established a donation page for her son in order to help them with his travel expenses, food and clothing while he's on the road to recovery. So you may ask, what is the definition of neonatal brain tumors? When compared to older children and adults, brain tumors in the neonatal age range are quite rare. Cameron was actually among the rarer chosen ones, if we may say. Brain tumors in older children are typically intrafraternal. However, brain tumors in neonates are typically supratorial, like in Cameron's case. Despite the fact that extracranial tumors are more common in newborns, brain tumors are responsible for around 5 to 20% of all fatalities. Neonates have different histological types than older children and adults, and this is especially true of prevalent neonatal brain tumors. Tips: embryonaltomas, choroid plexus tumors, craniopharyngiomas, gangliomas, epidemio, and mangle tumors are all examples of non-breast tumors. Teratoma is the most frequent of these tumors, according to nearly 1/3 of all reported instances. 3% of children had astrocytoma, with metaloblastoma accounting for 11.4% and craniopharyngioma accounting for 9.7% of all pediatric brain tumors. The adoption of the latest improved technology and antennal imaging has drastically increased the incidence of prenatal diagnosis of neural tube defects over the last 2 decades. Antennal ultrasonography is the gold standard for prenatal diagnostics. The initial antennal ultrasonic results include an increased head size, a large uterus for the gestational age, polyhydramnios hydrops, and hydrocephalus, all of which are associated with prematurity. It is also able to detect macrocephaly, hydrocephalus, aberrant, and even intracranial echogenesis. The use of prenatal magnetic resonance imaging in worrisome instances has boosted the specificity of the detection of brain tumors in the modern era of medicine. Others may experience obstructed labor or dystopsia as a result of cephalopelvic disproportion. As a result of a big head size, it has also the potential to cause stillbirth or early labor. A big head results in signs of elevated intracranial pressure such as bulging fontanelles, irritability, and drowsiness, in addition to failing to thrive. Experiencing apnea episodes as well as neurological impairments and seizures are all observed in newborns after birth. In his classifications of MBT, Volpe divided them into 4 categories: severe macrocrania caused by massive tumors resulting in cephalopelvic disproportion, dystopia, stillbirth or premature labor, hydrocephalus with a large head, and bulging fontanelle, specific neurological findings, depending on the type and location of the lesion. Neonatal brain tumors are treated in 2 ways: surgical resection and adjuvant chemotherapy. Surgical resection is the first step of the long treatment process. In children younger than 3 years of age, radiotherapy is prohibited due to the magnified, long-term side effects, and in newborns, as it can lead to developmental retardation, neuroendocrine abnormalities, the danger of subsequent neoplasms in the CNS, and the possibility of early mortality. Chemotherapy is used instead, until the child reaches the age where they can have radiotherapy. Pediatric brain tumors are often only primary brain tumors, which means that they start in the brain or in tissues near the brain and then spread from there. When normal cells have flaws or mutations in their DNA, they develop into primary brain tumors. These mutations let cells proliferate and divide at a faster rate than normal, which allows them to survive when normal cells would have died. The end outcome is a tumor, which is a mass of average cells that's grown out of control, which is exactly what happened in the case of baby Cameron. We wish him a fast recovery so that he can join his parents in their house, after they only had the chance to look at him through the glass at the hospital.